Hello and welcome to Current Issues. I'm Vineet Malhotra. The need for a standard and central entrance testing system has been in the fray for a very long time. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, also known as NEET, has been under the scanner lately after the Supreme Court order to implement the test has been successfully delayed by a government ordinance. The test that would have opened up opportunities for medical students all over the country is now being ping-ponged between centre and state interest, and the arguments are sometimes not making much sense. To make sense of this topic, let me introduce Dr. Rashmi Sama, who's going to be joining us on the show. And with me in the studio is Dr. Gulshan Garg. He actually is the person who filed this petition. He wanted this particular test to be implemented. So let's kickstart the show with Dr. Gulshan Garg, who's also served as a major in the Indian Army. So welcome to the show. First of all, why are states showing such resistance to this particular test?
States basically, as far as consider our NGO or the Honorable Supreme Court, they are raising three issues which I have gone through the newspaper reports. They have raised three issues. One is ongoing exams. Honorable Health Minister Nadda Sahab has told three issues were there, so that we had to bring the ordinance. That was, one is ongoing exam, second was syllabus, and third was language. And these all three issues were totally in depth. They were discussed in Supreme Court, and three judges bench. They have decided that NEET should be done from this year onwards. Right from this year we should start, and there was no weightage given to these issues after going in depth, after discussing every aspect of it.
Okay, the rot and the ruckus is much deeper, than we have spoken about so far. Let me go to Dr. Rashmi Sama, who's the Associate Consultant and Chief Medicine Doctor in Sir Gangaram Hospital. Dr. Rashmi, if a test for the IIT, a test for, a lot of major institutes can be conducted in English, that is, the nominal and the normal language which is primarily used, to judge candidates if they fit the bill to study in these universities, then why are some of these medical private institutes asking for immunity?
I think because we're such a big country with people with so many different religions and cultures and languages, and so far people have been able to do things differently in every state. Right? Like if you're in South India, people, even though they speak English, would like to speak their regional language. So suddenly trying to bring everybody under one national exam and making English the language of preference is, I think, coming as a shock and is being, viewed as a little harsh.
But Rashmi, they appear for the test in their local vernacular, and obviously when they go on to study for medical sciences, they have to study in English. How much sense would it make?
They do. I am in agreement with having one national exam, everybody, but if people are studying in their local languages and then taking an exam in English, I don't know how that really works. I haven't gone and seen every single exam station and how it works, and how fluent they are and how much they understand.
Dr. Garg wants to interject. He has a point. Maybe he wants to counter you. Go ahead, Dr. Garg.
See, there is no MBBS books, PG books, nowhere you will find books in other than English. So how will they cope up later on, first of all? Second,
so it's as good as saying that, if I want to, be an astronaut, I have to know English.
Yes.
I cannot know just Tamil or the local vernacular and aspire to become an astronaut. I have to know the language which actually excels in transforming all that knowledge into my head, and usually that is English or Hindi in our country.
I tell you, there, last 2013, the NEET was conducted in 7 languages. English or Hindi was there, along with the 5 regional languages.
Nobody passed.
Not even a single candidate could clear that exam. And the second thing is, English during the 12th exam, to appear for the national exam, before appearing, English you should clear through the English test before going to the any national exam or any private
But Dr.
institutes.
Garg, what is the major issue? Why are they so resistant? Is that the money trail that everybody is probably not talking about, the capitation fee, the thousands of crores which are actually involved? The figure goes as much as 12,000 crores which are exchanged in black money. So there are vested interests, and there are a lot of powerful big people who are invested in these private institutes, and that's why they don't want this business to shut down.
There were reports in the media, 80 MPs, member parliaments are directly, they are having stakes in medical institutions. They are pressurizing Government of India. We request Government of India not to get pressurized, not to come under pressure of those MPs, and they should not go for any ordinance. All those issues they have raised, one is language, syllabus, or the ongoing exams. These are not valid issues.
Okay,
Honorable
Dr. Garg, I'll come back to you. Let me get in Krishna Sarma, who's a Supreme Court advocate. Krishna, why do you think states are bending backwards and resisting such a noble idea of a uniform testing system which will actually open up windows for a lot of medical students, for example, who probably have to travel between states to appear for different tests? Now they will be just a centralization of this particular test, and still there are a few states which are acting like a spoiled brat and being a spoiled sport basically. Is it the capitation fee?
I heard, no, actually I represented the state of Assam, and I can tell you that we have no private institutions in Assam. We have 6 medical colleges and 1 dental college.
But that is one state, right?
And our issue have been kind of common. No, but it is an important state, and we had 29,000 applicants ready to take the exam, the state exams, on May 14th and 15th, and suddenly on April 28th they were told that their exam will not happen and they needed to prepare for NEET, which was on May 1st, which would be the exam. And entire preparation for this, and in fact the admit card, the last date was April 1st of 2016. So besides the fact that it was so sudden, the other 2 issues are still valid, that is the local language and also the state curriculum, as compared to the CBSE curriculum. So I think these are valid concerns, and I think our state is also now quite coming around to the fact that NEET is the way of life, which is fine, but we do need a deferment for a year, and we are hoping that the ordinance comes true and that it is deferred for a year, and from next year the students would be better prepared to take the centralized exams.
Dr. Rashmi, 9,000 crore annually is the rate of the MBBS seats in our country. That is the kind of money, that is the kind of monetary revolution that we get to see when it comes to getting admissions in these institutes. The point being that if this trend continues, what is the future in this profession? How are we to be certain that you will get the right treatment when seats are being sold?
See, I think nationalizing the exam also, we should think about people who are going to dedicate their entire life to being a doctor. Having one exam where everybody can sit, take the same exam, becomes eligible to study the same thing. I have studied in the US. I mean, there's one exam taken by everyone all over the US. There's no specific exam for California. There's no specific exam for New York. So when you come out of, of your training, everybody has the same training. You don't feel different going to one state versus another. And I think it's about time that India does the same thing. We have one exam, everybody takes it, and then everybody comes out training the same way. And yes, I think it's time that we take away this whole phenomenon that people feel like because you can pay your way through med school, how good is one doctor versus another who's been to, say, been to AIMS versus somebody who's been to a school that takes capitation.
Right, and Krishna Sarma, some of these institutes, they are blatant enough to advertise that whoever approaches these universities and these institutes and these colleges, they will be given assured admission. From a legal standpoint, don't you think that actually indicates something illegal, some sort of a rot that exists?
Absolutely, that goes.
But why hasn't anybody done anything about it?
From that perspective, this No, I think this is one way of making sure that that doesn't happen in the future, because the moment you have a national merit list and all the seats have to be kind of this is the only funnel through which the seats could be given, I think this will end.
Okay, let's get in a caller. We have Shilpa who's giving us a call. Shilpa, go ahead. What do you have to say? You've been listening into our debate. Medical seats for sale. Right, I think. Okay, we have another caller. We lost Shilpa over there. We have Shrikant who's calling us from Himachal Pradesh. Shrikant, go ahead. Shrikant, can you hear me? Okay, seems to be a problem with the line. Coming back to you, Dr. Garg, the rise of the private institutes in our country, if you talk about the independence era, there was only one private institute in 1947, but by the time 2000 ended, the private institute saga sort of overpowered the government institutes. Do you think that this reform or this sort of a trend was done because of a reason?
Initially, the reason was we were having less number of doctors. Still, we are having less number of doctors.
We're still facing the same crisis.
Same problem. Health human resource is deficient, no doubt about it. But we don't, at the cost of, if the doctors, they are not to the level we want in the society. So, there is no use of doing all this. That's why
Dr. Garg, I'll come back to you. Let's get Shrikant back into the line because he called us before, but the line disconnected. Shrikant, go ahead.
हेलो सर, गुड इवनिंग.
Good evening. Go ahead.
हाँ हेलो सर, मैं ये जानना चाहता था कि जेपी नड्डा जी आज राष्ट्रपति से मिले हैं उस ऑर्डिनेंस के बारे में, तो उसका हाँ हेलो सर, सुन रहे हैं आप मेरी बात?
Okay, well, there seems to be some problem with the connection with Shrikant, but Dr. Garg, basically he wanted to ask you, was this ordinance that has been introduced by the government, will it be detrimental for the fight that you've been actually carrying on for so long? Since you were so instrumental in getting this test actually noticed by the Honorable Supreme Court.
So our focus was to bring the medical reforms. Our focus was to bring corruption-free medical education.
Right.
And we, one way we have
corruption-free and meritorious.
Meritorious students. In the petition, if you go in detail, we have kept 4 or 5 points. One is nobody should go with capitation fee.
Right.
And the multiple exams, harassment of students going to different places, buying different prospectus, and the doctors which we are getting from those colleges are not to the level we want in the society. So all that was highlighted in our petition.
Okay,
and ultimately we succeed.
We'll come back to you, Dr. Garg. Let's get in a caller. We have Amit who's giving us a call from Bihar. Amit, go ahead. Amit, can you hear me? Okay, well, Dr. Garg, we have spoken about, the fact that a lot of states are being resistant to the implementation of NEET. But, you have also been very instrumental in having this issue raised and, it's been noticed, and actually people are thinking about, how to actually make this profession and the entrance point very, very crucial and pure. But you think there are logistical challenges if the NEET is implemented between the center and the states? In terms of curriculum, there's CBSE and then there's the state. Do you think that could be a problem for students?
All those points were discussed in Honorable Supreme Court in front of 3 judges bench in detail. And if I tell you, like 201 advocates are representing to different medical colleges, deemed universities, state governments, and one from our side, Sankalp Charitable Trust. It was all at length discussed, language also, syllabus also, and the exams which were announced earlier.
Right.
And the Honorable Supreme
we have another caller, Dr. Garg, I hate to interject you, but we have a caller. Sanjeev is giving us a call from Kolkata. Sanjeev, go ahead.
हेलो.
Go ahead, Sanjeev, we can hear you.
ओके, मैं जानना चाह रहा था सर कि ये जो ऑर्डिनेंस गवर्नमेंट ला रहा है, उसके लिए मैंने अपने ऑर्डिनेंस का डेट कब तक हम लोग जान सकेंगे कि कब क्लियर होगा, कब नहीं होगा क्लियर ये?
Mr. Garg, that's best answered by you.
It is with the President of India. He has sent for legal opinion. It might take another 3-4 days. President of India has called up
Okay.
Dr. Nadda.
We have another caller. Narsima is giving us a call from Gujarat.
Hello.
Go ahead, Narsim.
Yes, sir. Everybody is discussing undergraduate NEET. Why nobody is talking about PG, sir?
What about PG, Narsim?
Sir, NEET is required for post-graduation admission. There is a lot of malfunctioning, crores of rupees admission fee. They are taking in black. So NEET is also compulsory for PG as per resolution of Gujarat Government of India 2010. But nobody talking about PG exam, NEET. Everybody talking only undergraduate. You include post-graduation also, sir.
Mr. Garg,
Sir,
valid point.
a valid point.
And we'll also get Dr. Rashmi Sama on this, that MBBS, people are talking about it, the kind of money, the influx and the corruption that exists. There's a lot of rot in, the post-graduation part of, the medical profession as well. Nobody talks about that. Why is that, Rashmi?
I think it should be a blanket thing. It should start with undergrad getting into med school, and it should continue through postgrad. There should be no reason anybody should be able to get in anywhere through money. It should be just totally based on merit, and everybody should be taking the same exam. If you're all treating patients all over the country, it should be everybody should be qualified the same way by the same exam. It should not be different in Bombay versus Delhi.
Right. Let's get another caller in. We have Sankalp who's giving us a call from Odisha. Sankalp, go ahead.
जी, ये हमारा नीट 2013 में भी हुआ था. उस समय भी सिलेबस स्टेट का अलग था और सेंटर का भी अलग था. पर उस समय जब था वो नीट हुआ था, फिर उस समय परसेंटाइल का कुछ मुद्दा था. तो परसेंटाइल के हिसाब से वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उन्होंने 85% उनका जो रिजर्व सीट है स्टेट ने उनका फिलअप किया था मेडिकल. उस हिसाब से इस बार भी अगर सिलेबस में कुछ उनका सिलेबस और लैंग्वेज में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होता है तो वो परसेंटाइल के थ्रू अपना फिलअप कर सकते हैं.
Okay, well, what I could not actually gather what he was trying to say.
I can explain. NEET exam. Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court has already clarified that that is not going to disturb any reservation. That is not going to disturb any quota. That is not going to disturb the state competitive exams. It is just suppose one student is from Tamil Nadu.
Right.
He is going for state seat. The first student who comes on 3rd ranking in the NEET exam, and the second student comes on 8th ranking, third comes on 14th ranking. When the state list will be prepared, third student will come on first, 8th student will come on second,
right.
14th will come on third. They are going to compete among themselves only, from the
Dr.
state
Garg,
only.
I'll come back to you, and let's get another caller in. We have Krishna who's giving us a call from Greater Noida. Krishna, go ahead.
Okay. Hello.
Krishna, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah. My question is that this is a very. My question to the expert is that. This my question to the expert is that. Yes.
Go ahead. Ask the question, Krishna.
My question to the expert is that this is one of the very welcome move from both the judiciary as well as from the government, that the student now have to face just one examination. But my problem is that this why is there a politicization and misinformation among in the whole arena that we want the need to be implemented this year, because we must understand that it needs 1 year for the whole state colleges and everyone to comply to this standard. But why is it not being projected as one of the very important and the move is in favor of the students?
Right, he has a valid point. Let me also get in Krishna Sarma, Supreme Court advocate. Krishna, the gentleman who just called, he said that the states are genuine and they are probably right in not wanting to be ready for the NEET exam as of now. But what about the underprepared doctors which are thrown out of these institutes because of all this all the corruption, the capitation fee, and all the rot that exists in these institutes? What happens to that?
That is a very that is a very unfair allegation without any basis. I think these colleges throw up excellent doctors, and as another of the panelists just said, I think it is a service. I know, for example, in Assam, that
Right.
a 1-year rural posting is compulsory after you do an MBBS. So I'm concerned that with this national ranking, etc., what is actually going to happen with that kind of requirements of rural working, and who actually would fill up that 85% is still quite unclear as to how this system is going to work.
Dr. Garg, you want to respond to that?
The
And-
gentleman did speak about how this is going to work seamlessly, but I don't think so.
Okay, we'll. I'll let you respond to that, but first let's also take in a caller. We have Dr. Tarek who's giving us a call from Delhi. Go ahead, sir.
हाँ, मैं डॉक्टर तारिक बोल रहा हूँ। MS सर्जरी किया हुआ है, दिल्ली के गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में सीनियर रेजिडेंट हूँ। हमारे साथ एक प्रॉब्लम है कि अगर हम सुपर स्पेशलाइजेशन के लिए जाना चाहते हैं, DM या MCH के लिए, तो एक इशू होता है कि हर स्टेट का और इवन डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज का अलग एग्जाम होता है। तो एक कैंडिडेट जो है, एक स्टूडेंट, एक प्रोस्पेक्टिव डॉक्टर जो है सुपर स्पेशलाइजेशन करना चाहता है, तो वो अभी अगर उसको मध्य प्रदेश का देना है, राजस्थान का देना है, गुजरात का देना है, दिल्ली का देना है, यूपी का देना है, चंडीगढ़ का देना है, तो हर जगह जाएगा, डिफरेंट फॉर्म फिल करेगा, डिफरेंट एग्जाम्स देगा। तो ऐसा क्यों है? एक यूनिफॉर्मिटी क्यों नहीं है? MCH के एग्जाम्स के अंदर तो कोई कोटा भी नहीं होता है, वो तो ओपन सीट्स होती हैं। तो क्या ऐसा कोई सिस्टम नहीं बन सकता है जिससे हम एक एग्जाम हो और एक एग्जाम हम दिल्ली के अंदर दें या डिफरेंट सेंटर्स के अंदर दें और उसकी बेसिस पे हमारा सब जगह पर सिलेक्शन हो?
I think
That's what NEET is.
I think he's reiterating what you're fighting
That's
for.
what NEET is.
But would you not rather respond to Krishna Sarma's
Yes,
point
definitely.
of view that
Let me answer to doctor recently he was speaking that's what NEET is. This is a common exam.
Right.
One merit, going to one place, appearing for one exam, and getting students from for every medical college.
Right.
I am answering now. I will be answering to my
Krishna Sarma.
Krishna Sharma ji. That she told
Are these doctors really prepared meritoriously? All of the doctors that come out of these institutes?
the doctors, the student who wants
If
to
you're
go
buying
for,
seats,
no, the student who wants to go for medicine, he starts preparing from 11th onwards, right from the beginning. He has 2 years, 11th and 12th, to prepare for the exam, entrance exam. NEET is not going to disturb any national quota, national seats. NEET is not going to disturb any state seats. Reservation for any of the community will remain the same.
but whom will it disturb?
Minorities-
That is actually
NEET is
what we are discussing. Whom will it disturb?
I tell you, NEET is what NEET is. NEET, there will be one common national exam.
Right,
They will be taking 15% of the students for the all India quota,
right.
and 85% will remain with each and every state, whatever it was previously the thing was going on.
Right.
The students will be competing among their fellows from the same state. Suppose I am from Rajasthan, I will not be competing with Tamil Nadu student. There will be state list will be made of Tamilians, Tamil residents.
Right.
Students, suppose NEET in the NEET ranking, the first student, as I told, comes on 3rd, and the second Tamil student comes
Right.
on 8th, and the
Yeah,
third.
I definitely understand that permutation. Let's get a caller in. We have Vikrant who's giving us a call from Karnataka. Vikrant, go ahead.
या मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि मोदी सरकार को 2 साल हो गए यहाँ आकर, उन्होंने कभी सोचा नहीं कि मतलब एक यूनिफॉर्म नीट को लाया जाए। पर जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऐसा कर रही है तो मोदी सरकार ने 2 दिन के अंदर अंदर एक ऑर्डिनेंस ला दिया, जिसकी वजह से कैंसिल करने पे आ गए वो 1 साल के लिए। इससे ये पता लगता है हमारी यहाँ की प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेज की लॉबी कितनी तगड़ी है। आप क्या कहेंगे, मतलब कि कितनी एथिकल है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ये ऑर्डिनेंस लाने के लिए?
How ethical it is for the government to actually sort of try and modify this order and bring in an ordinance and delay it.
You can very well see every student, every doctor is hinting the same which I was hinting. They are telling there should be one exam, they are telling merit should prevail, they are telling they should not be harassed by multiple exams, going to different places, and all points are coming the same similar way as we have put in our petition.
Let's get in another caller. We have Dr. Sameer who's calling us from Lucknow. Dr. Sameer, go ahead.
I am Dr. Sameer calling from Lucknow.
Go ahead, sir.
Just one thing which I wanted to understand was that Supreme Court has categorically ordered that there should be one examination all over India, and it is supposed to be a fair examination. Now, the objection of private medical colleges is obviously because they want to earn money out of it. This is their business. There is no charity done there. Number one. Number two, all the state medical colleges also have some kind of corruption in them, which everybody knows but nobody accepts. But then, when the Supreme Court has laid down the certain guidelines for all this, why the central government and the state governments are actually objecting on it? Because as Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, had said that we are against black money and all kind of corruption which is into the private medical colleges in form of donation, in form of capitation fee, in form of high tuition fees, as well as in the government medical colleges, the seats are sold. I know about it, but nobody is going to accept about it.
Right.
So when these things are going to happen, how this black money thing is going to go out of India? It is not going to go out of India. And what we are going to produce is, we are going to produce substandard doctors who have gone through a back door. And we can understand very well that all these private institutions, they have certain money which is involved of politicians.
Right. So basically, the crux of your question, Dr. Sameer, is that before focusing on the black money that's parked outside of the country, we should try and, stop probably the influx of the black money, which is within our reach, and it is with the government. We don't have much time left on the show. Dr. Rashmi Sama, one last question for you. As is, nobody likes to go to hospitals, nobody likes to go to courts. It's just, it sometimes gets very harrowing, to visit hospitals and courts, but then you find out that the procedure to select the doctor who's treating you is not as meritorious as it should be. What do you have to say to the patient?
I mean, what are you going to say to the patient? We have so many hospitals now that are privatized, so many doctors. I am, like I said, I'm in favor of one exam, pre and post. When you graduate, when you finish your training, there should be one exam. Everybody should sit through that exam. And we all should come out trained the same, take the same exam, so that when you go as a patient to a doctor, you know that they've all been through the same training. You should not feel any different going to a private hospital versus a government hospital.
Right. Dr. Dr. Rashmi, thank you so much. Krishna Sarma, coming to you now. Parting thoughts from you. How can this system be changed, and what should be done about it?
No, I think the NEET is an excellent step forward, and states like Assam are actually quite keen that that happens from next year. But for this year, I think we do want the ordinance to defer it by and give the state the time and the students the time to get on with the new system.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your closing thoughts, Dr. Rashmi Sama and Krishna Sama. Dr. Gar, thank you so much for coming to the studio, and really appreciate the initiative that you have started, and hopefully this endeavor of yours will benefit a lot of students. That's all we have on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.